Having taken like essentially an EDM song and turned it into like a barn dance is ridiculous, and I'm totally here for it. Having our own MTV Unplugged show is very surreal and incredibly exciting. I guess it's something that we've always wanted to do, and grew up seeing other kind of like legendary performances. They're really iconic, so it's a real privilege to get to have a go. What does it mean to you, Woody?
It means that we get to play our songs in a quite exposed way, so there's not so many toys and bells and whistles to hide behind. So hopefully it shows we can actually play our instruments to some level.
I guess we always like to mess around with our songs, deconstruct them, reconstruct them in different ways for different things, and this is what better an excuse to do it than for this, and in a totally new way. And Charlie Barnes has done some pretty wonderful arrangement for us and some amazing musicians who are joining us, some singers and musicians of all kinds. So yeah, we're very excited.
Well, I think now that we've done the official sound check and we can't really make any more changes, I can probably solidly say that I can't believe I got away with what I've done to Happier.
It's kind of mad that this set takes us from, I think, like such a beautiful version of No Bad Days. There's this like really muted lilting piano and a vocal, then to like a full-on ridiculous hoedown for Happier. Having taken like essentially an EDM song and turned it into like a barn dance is ridiculous, and I'm totally here for it. Yeah, I think what's really nice about the arrangements and you know, and what Charlie's done and what everyone's done is everyone kind of gets, because we're all moving around, it's been a real challenge forcing ourselves to play instruments that we don't normally play in quite like an exposed way, and I'm terrified. But I think it's everyone has a kind of moment, and it's been really nice like gelling it together over the last few days. I think there are some like lovely little licks that Carl does on this guy.
Yeah, it was fun. I think, especially on keyboards and stuff, and we're on synths, and it's like, we've got to change a key on the fly. Gosh, done, one little button. So learning all those songs in a completely different key was great. Really enjoyed that bit. It's been a really nice challenge, and to see kind of what everyone came up with in that environment it's just been amazing. And like, obviously, we're all kind of bouncing off just everything that Charlie's built for us, which is really nice.
We might have taken a few looks at some past unplugs, namely Nirvana and Biffy. I think we're probably top of the pile there. I mean, I grew up watching MTV loads, pretty much doing that rather than homework, which thankfully panned out because now we're here. The Nirvana one especially is just like quite literally iconic and sort of leaned upon, and to kind of be here doing a very similar thing. Not like candles though, health and safety say no, but it's close enough.
When I was a teenager and first getting into music, my mum bought me, when I wasn't feeling very well, a Beavis and Butthead VHS tape that at the start of it had an old trailer for like a best of Unplugged VHS cassette tape, I assume, and it just kind of showed you a lot of the iconic performances. Like, you can get the MTV Unplugged with all these iconic, all that kind of stuff. And there was a little moment in that I was like, oh, this is interesting. And then it showed a little bit of the one that The Cure did, and they very immediately became pretty much my favourite band from that point.
Is that what did it?
That's what did it. Just seeing this fellow with wonderful hair singing "Show Me How You Do It," and I promise I'll run away with you. I was like, oh, I think that guy might be speaking my language.
Nice. We couldn't do an MTV Unplugged show and not do some covers, and obviously we're like nodding towards the Nirvana classic that we absolutely love, with an arrangement that could not be further from
I think it's pretty much like a whistle away from being an Ennio Morricone pastiche. But I think when we told our crew that we were doing Come As You Are, there was a lot of hesitation from them, like, are you sure? But they seem to think we've got away with it, so that's okay.
And Killing Me Softly is another cover that we're doing, which sort of like was one of my favourite songs growing up, the Fugees version. So it's just like really great to do it with these guys on the drums and bass, and with our amazing singers who we're lucky enough to have with us tonight. We've sort of done acoustic versions of our songs before, but never put this much thought into the arrangements and into kind of making them really different and special. So it's been, in that respect, like so much fun. But also I think it's a real, like, I don't know, minimalism is not a thing that we've ever had to grapple with in Bastille, ever. yeah, I guess there's a lot of kitchen sinks involved in every single song. So it's been interesting stripping it out. As you can hear, there are big moments and there are kind of moments of reaching and being over the top, but there's a lot of quietness in there as well, and that's just really nice because it's a real point of difference. There's a song called Hope for the Future that isn't released yet, and so we've been sort of living with this recording that's very specific and very intimate and quite, it's a mixture of acoustic guitar and these weird electronic samples and these very whispered vocals. So I guess premiering it for the first time here live, it's never going to be the same as the recording, and we've definitely all got really attached to that recording. So that was kind of an interesting challenge because it's quite a subtle song, so getting all the nuances was tricky. The hardest one for me probably like having to learn the guitar for today was a nightmare, and I didn't do a very good job, but that's pretty terrifying. Just going to play for the first time with a bunch of cameras around. So there's a few songs where I play guitar, but I think for all of us, we're just massively pushed outside our comfort zone, which was kind of the point. Weirdly, the most comfortable sounding music we've ever made, but we're all stressed. But yeah, no, it's a real pleasure to be here, and I'm glad we got the rugs as well. Yes. Most importantly, I guess getting to break down our songs into the sort of core components and really think about the arrangements and the lyrics and the chords. It's always quite like an exposing process doing that with your songs, and it's just been nice all getting in a room together and rehearsing like with real instruments properly, because everything, we've been splitting our time between this new album we've made that's kind of intentionally futuristic and very electronic and very kind of computerized and synthetic, and then at the same time thinking about on the complete other end of the spectrum doing this, and it's been a really nice kind of counterpoint. I've loved it.